Hello there, this is Ty the Movie Guy, and I am back inside the box. So you know what that means. We are once again doing another You Pick the Flick.
Fire, you son of a... Great power comes great responsibility.
My brother had a sword!
You do this all day. I am Iron Man.
Why so serious?
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
This is episode number 5. Yep, we've made it this far. We've gotten to episode number 5. Well, let's keep that going. So, if you've never seen a You Pick the Flick before, basically I get you, the viewer, to comment a movie, and I pick 5 lucky contestants to... I pick their movie that I've never seen before, and then I watch them, and then I rank them, and then whoever picked the best movie that I like the most is our winner. So here we are on my last You Pick the Flick, and this is where I get all my comments from. I just want to thank everyone down below for commenting. You guys are the best. I love you guys so much. So here's everyone. Thank you very, very much. And here we are on the random comment picker. And and I already got the URL in and everything. So we're going to pick our first contestant, and we have... That is not a movie. Sorry, Mission X, but you are not being picked. Sorry. Okay, this is number 1 for real this time. Cinema Sam. This is a IRL friend that me and him, we go see movies together a lot because we're just big movie nerds. And he says, I'll recommend 2, and you can pick either Akira Kurosawa or the original 3:10 to Yuma. I'm going to go with the original 3:10 to Yuma because I'm a big fan of the James Mangold version, so I want to see the original, and I want to see like where the movie I like came from. So we are going to go with the original 3:10 to Yuma. And then contestant number 2 is Brick by Brick Marks. Watch Daddy Daycare. Okay, Daddy Daycare is actually a movie I don't think I've seen in full at all, but I remember it being on TV a lot as a kid, but I've never seen all of it before, so that's going to be an interesting watch. And then contestant number 3 is that is myself. We are not picking myself. Okay, contestant number 3 for real. The Tickle Monster. This is a coworker of mine. Malcolm X. It's a lovely comedy. No, I don't think it is. One of my favorite live-action motion pictures of the genre. Okay, contestant number 3 is Malcolm X. Number 4 is Potato Mean. You should watch the hit 1999 comedy adventure movie Baby Geniuses, and Potato Mean is back. And from his past suggestions, I'm going to assume that Baby Geniuses is not going to be a good movie. And just from the title alone, I have a feeling it doesn't sound the best, but I don't know. He's suggested Food Fight and Horrid Henry. I think he can only go up from there. And then our last contestant is Skull Smoothies. Check out the 2010 Welsh film Submarine, written and directed by Richard Ayoade. Okay, well, I've never actually heard of this movie, but that is our 5th movie. And so there you have it, and I will see you guys in a week after I watch all these movies. So see you in a week. We are back. It has officially been a week. I have watched all your suggestions, and to no one's surprise, we have Baby Geniuses in last place. And what to say about this movie? This is just a very strange movie that it just kind of makes you think, like, why was it made? Who thought this was a good idea? Like, what was the thought process behind this whole movie? I couldn't really get whoever, like, found this funny. Like, I feel like you'd have to be the baby's point of view to actually find this funny. I just don't know who would actually find stuff like this funny. Like, babies doing kung fu and like the Three Stooges stuff, like poking the eyes and stuff like that. It's just like, who thought it was a good idea? Who thought this would be funny? Like, it is just not funny whatsoever, and it is just such a stupid concept of these really smart babies who have their own language and scientists are experimenting on them and stuff like that, and then they like break out, and then they get swapped around, and then they gotta break out the other one. It's just, why? Who thought of this? This is just a terrible idea. It was not really funny at all. The only saving grace was it has a bit of a 90s charm that I kind of find nostalgic. Like, obviously I wasn't born in the 90s, but I watched a lot of 90s movies as a kid, and I can kind of feel the 90s vibes from this movie, obviously, because it was from the 90s. And then it had a little bit of a cute ending towards the end, all the family stuff, and it's like, all we need is each other and stuff like that was kind of cute for just such a goofy movie like this. And then Christopher Lloyd was also in this movie, which is kind of like really weird, like, and coincidentally he was also in Food Fight. What's with Christopher Lloyd and being in really terrible movies? Like, is he okay? Is his whole family okay? Are they safe, or are they held hostage and he's like forced to be in movies like this? Seeing him in a movie like this was like, obviously he should be in better movies, but he was kind of like a little bit of a saving grace for this movie, just seeing a familiar face from such a famous movie as Back to the Future. So once again, Potato Means Movie, of course, is in last place, but I'm in the point of acceptance where I kind of enjoy Tato's, his suggestions now. So keep them coming, Tato. Give me more trash movies that I will watch and probably also put in the bottom, just like this movie. So that's why it's coming in last place. Coming in fourth place, we have Daddy Daycare. And you can kind of see the similarities between this and Baby Geniuses. You know, Baby Geniuses is about babies, of course, and now we're moving up to toddlers, so it seems like the older we get, the more I like the movie, basically. This is, you know, actually a lot like Baby Geniuses, where it's just another comedy movie, and I think it's just a step above because I actually found myself laughing quite a few times in this movie, thanks to, of course, Eddie Murphy, who is just a great actor, and he is just a really funny guy, and of course, I'm super excited for him in Shrek 5, but yeah, he's just a really funny guy that I really like. So the movie itself isn't anything special, but putting like a big name like Eddie Murphy in this movie brings it up a step. Like if it was some like no name, I just wouldn't really care about this movie whatsoever, but Eddie Murphy definitely brings it up a bit. And then also, like Baby Geniuses, I get some nostalgia for this movie too. Not the 90s nostalgia, but more the early 2000s nostalgia, of course, because that's the era this movie came out. And I've never seen this movie, of course, that's why it's on this list, but I remember it was on TV a lot as a kid, like I said when I first picked this movie. But yeah, I saw it a lot on TV as a kid, and I like remember the vegetable suits and them like fighting each other and stuff like that. And so like seeing that again, it's like, oh, that's from the movie that was on a lot as a kid. And oh, that's like the context of why they're fighting. It's kind of like fun putting the pieces together of like just random scenes I remember would randomly be on TV. So yeah, it was kind of cool seeing that, like getting a little bit of nostalgia from something that would always be on TV. And you know, Eddie Murphy's cool and everything. And yeah, there was a couple funny scenes, so that's why it's just a step above Baby Geniuses. In third place, we have Malcolm X. And this movie itself is definitely not a comedy, but I certainly do find it funny how we went from baby, toddler humor, slapstick to Malcolm X's fight for racial equality and Black Lives Matter and all the protests and all the things he went through. That is just a crazy segue. And so with this movie, don't get me wrong, his story is just incredibly important. His whole fight for black people's equality and all he's had to go through and all his whole fight and protest and all of that is super, super, super important. But just, I don't know if it warrants 3.5 hours long. For me, at least, just a movie like this, I can't, like, I definitely did sit through all of it, but just, I'll be happy never to watch it again, just like Das Boot. It's very important to learn about his story and all the things him and black people have been through, but just, it was just incredibly long, and a movie like this, I just not that excited to sit through something this long. I'm a comic book movie fan at heart, so like something like the Snyder Cut, yeah, that kind of makes sense as a 4-hour movie, but just this 3.5-hour movie about just like speeches after speeches after speeches after speeches, like all the stuff he's saying, it's interesting to listen to, but I just don't know for 3.5 hours that I can really handle that. Like I've done it once, just a couple days ago I did it, but I don't think I'll ever want to watch this movie again. It was just incredibly long for the subject matter. I feel like honestly this would make a good TV show. Just, I don't know, do a couple half-hour episodes, and it would make a nice series, like coming out weekly. It'd be very interesting, but just a 3.5-hour movie for like a subject matter is just tremendously long. And I'm glad I've seen it once. You know, Denzel, he's an amazing actor. He was like one of the best parts of this movie, like all his speeches and stuff. He's just, yeah, he's a great actor. So he was like the most interesting part. I like seeing him, and I like seeing him act. But just, yeah, it was super, super long. And, you know, I'm glad I've seen it once, but I'm happy to never see it again. So that's why it comes in third place. In second place, we have the film Submarine. And I think I've like seen the poster of this movie in passing and different stuff like that, but I've never taken the time to like learn what it was about or like actually watch the whole movie. So I'm glad that I've finally taken the time to actually see the movie. And this was just a fun little English movie about like this teenage boy who is trying to like get the girl and everything, and then he's also trying to like deal with his parents and their whole problem and his mom's like affair and different stuff like that. He's like a really weird little boy. Like he'll do stuff like with his girlfriend. He'll like scheme of ways to like kill her dog to like prepare her for her mom's death and stuff like that, which is just really weird, but like in a funny way, like how weird this little kid is. And then like he also like studies his parents, and he knows when they have sex by like checking the dimmer light and stuff like that. So this kid is just incredibly weird, but that's just what makes this film funny. All the quirky stuff he does, and how he's like has to like deal with his girlfriend and like her mom having cancer, and then dealing with his parents and their troubles in their marriage and stuff like that. So just, yeah, watching this little boy deal with like these heavy subjects in such weird ways just makes for a really funny movie. And also, I noticed a lot of Wes Anderson isms in this movie. Not really the symmetry and like pastel colors like Wes Anderson, but just the kind of the editing style and the narration gave major Wes Anderson vibes, which I really, really liked because I am a big Wes Anderson fan. So just seeing that in a non-Wes Anderson movie was just really fun to see. And yeah, it just reminds me of Wes Anderson. And also just like Young Love reminded me a lot of Moonrise Kingdom. So that's just another Wes Anderson ism. So yeah, all in all, it just made for like a funny, quirky movie that it felt very unique, and it was a pretty good watch. And yeah, so that's why it comes in second place. Coming in first place, we have 3:10 to Yuma, and this is just a solid Western movie about an everyday farmer who just wants to make enough money to provide for his family. So he takes on this job to transfer this bad guy named Ben Wade to a train station so he can get on at 3:10 and pay for his crimes. And it is just a nail biter of a movie. As every hour and minute passes, you wonder, will they get caught? Will they get to the train station on time? And Ben Wade is like definitely like the standout of the film. He is just like a master manipulator, talking to Dan Evans, our protagonist, about like trying to pay him off and trying to like talk to him about his wife and his kids and everything, and just like, will Dan Evans fold, or will he like stick to his gut or whatever? And Dan Evans himself is also a great character who's in it for the money, but also at the same time he wants to be like a role model to his kids, and he wants his kids to look up to him, and they'll love him if he's like this guy who managed to capture Ben Wade and everything. So he's in it for the money, but also he's just trying to be a good dad and be a hero to them at the same time, which is also very honorable. So, and then of course, when they go from the hotel to the train station, that is also just such a thrilling scene where Dan Evans has Ben Wade at gunpoint, and he's gotta like avoid all of Ben Wade's men and like use him as a human shield, and yeah, just dodge all the gunfire and everything to get to the train station on time. And then it is just a crazy ending where you think Ben Wade is getting to Dan Evans and he's gonna fold, but then nope, turns out Ben Wade folds and decides that he wants to atone for his crimes, and he has a chance to get away with his men, but he chooses to get on the train and he wants to pay for his crimes. So the whole time you think our good guy is gonna fold, but instead our good guy actually makes the bad guy fold, which makes for such an amazing ending. So all in all, this is just such a solid Western movie. I think I like the newer one a little bit more just because it's basically the same plot, but just better because it's a more modern movie. James Mangold is directing it, and I love Christian Bale and Russell Crowe. But of course, the original, where the new one came from, is also super solid. So that's why it comes in at first place. And once again, Cinema Sam has been victorious with the #1 movie. He's won, I think, twice now with Handmaiden, and now this movie with 3:10 to Yuma. So we got Cinema Sam up here on the leaderboard, and then we got Tato down here. He's gone 3 movies in a row coming in last place, but of course he's doing that on purpose. So yeah, Tato, keep up with the shit movies, and then everyone else keep up with the good movies. So that's about it. Make sure to comment for episode 6. I'll do that in a couple months, and farewell.